You're just being too sensitive. 4 gaslighting phrases that can break you and how to reclaim your reality. Have you ever left a conversation feeling confused, small, or like the villain in a story you didn't even write? Gaslighting is one of the most insidious forms of emotional manipulation, not because it's loud, but because it's subtle. It creeps in, softly rewriting your reality until you no longer trust your own emotions, instincts, or even memories. If this sounds familiar, know this: you're not overthinking. You're not too sensitive. And you're certainly not alone. Today, we're diving deep into 4 gaslighting phrases that can emotionally break you if you let them. But more importantly, we'll explore how to spot them, how to protect yourself, and how to gently but powerfully stop them cold. 1. You're overreacting. The hidden message. Your emotional response is wrong. You're too much. You need to calm down. This phrase has a chilling way of silencing you. Whether you're expressing disappointment, frustration, or hurt, being told you're overreacting instantly shifts the focus from what happened to how you responded. Suddenly, you're the problem. Why it's so damaging. Imagine you cut your hand and someone tells you to stop bleeding instead of helping you bandage the wound. That's what emotional invalidation feels like. Your pain becomes inconvenient for them, and they'd rather dismiss it than acknowledge it. Over time, you begin to internalize this. You may find yourself second-guessing your own instincts. Was that really a big deal? Maybe I am too sensitive. A real-life example. Let's say your partner forgets your birthday. You bring it up and they reply, "You're seriously upset over that. You're overreacting. I've been busy." The truth is, your feelings are valid. Forgetting a birthday may not be a crime, but it still stings, especially if it happens repeatedly or without any effort to make amends. How to stop it cold. I'm allowed to feel upset. My emotions aren't up for debate. You don't need permission to feel what you feel. Calmly affirming your emotional experience without justifying it takes the power out of gaslighting and puts it back in your hands. 2. You're too sensitive. The hidden message. Your emotions are flawed. You're broken for feeling this deeply. This one is particularly cruel because it pathologizes empathy. It makes you feel like you're defective for caring, as if your sensitivity is a burden or a weakness. The psychological impact. People who are labeled as too sensitive often carry childhood wounds where their emotions weren't seen or respected. Over time, they may become emotionally hypervigilant, constantly monitoring themselves, afraid to speak up in case they're once again told they're too much. This phrase encourages emotional repression, forcing you to mute your reactions to avoid being shamed. And here's the scary part. The more you suppress, the more you disconnect from your inner voice. A real-life example. Let's say you express discomfort about a joke someone made at your expense. Instead of apologizing, they respond, "Relax. It was just a joke. You're so sensitive." What just happened? They deflected responsibility by framing your reaction as the issue instead of their words. How to reclaim your sensitivity. My sensitivity is a strength. It helps me connect, care, and understand. If something hurts me, I have every right to say so. Sensitivity doesn't make you weak. It makes you deeply human. And those who label it as a flaw are often uncomfortable with emotional accountability. 3. I never said that. The hidden message. You imagine that. Your memory can't be trusted. This phrase is a textbook gaslighting tactic. It's more than denial, it's distortion. It doesn't just challenge your point of view, it rewrites your reality. The psychological fallout. When someone repeatedly insists they never said something, especially when you clearly remember it, it causes something psychologists call cognitive dissonance. You begin to doubt your memory, even if you were confident before. This leads to emotional erosion. Your trust in yourself starts to disintegrate. You might begin recording conversations, screenshotting texts, or journaling obsessively just to keep track of what's real. The more they do it, the more you question, am I losing my mind? You're not. A real-life example. You remind a coworker of a previous agreement you had. They interrupt with a sharp, "I never said that." No room for discussion, just denial. Suddenly, it's your word against theirs, and you're left gasping for validation. How to ground yourself in reality. We may remember it differently, but I stand by what I heard and how it made me feel. You don't need to argue facts to protect your peace. Trusting your memory, even if imperfect, is essential to reclaiming your mental clarity. 4. You're making things up. The hidden message. You're delusional, dishonest, or manipulative. This one's a nuclear-level gaslighting phrase. It doesn't just challenge your feelings or memory. It attacks your character. It implies you're not only wrong, but intentionally fabricating something that never happened. Why? It's so devastating. This phrase cuts to the core of identity. It can make you feel untrustworthy, not just to others, but to yourself. When someone tells you that you're making things up, it doesn't just invalidate your pain, it invalidates your existence. It can be especially dangerous in abusive relationships where the goal is control. The more you question your sense of reality, the easier you are to manipulate. A real-life example. You express concern about how someone treated you in front of others and they snap back. That never happened. You're making things up again. You feel embarrassed, ashamed. You start wondering if maybe you misunderstood, even though your gut knows otherwise. How to respond with strength. I'm not making anything up. I'm describing what I experienced, and that matters. Even if you don't agree, you don't owe anyone a debate about your lived reality. You don't need receipts or a panel of judges. Your truth is enough. How to heal from gaslighting. Healing from gaslighting isn't just about recognizing the phrases. It's about rebuilding your relationship with yourself, your instincts, your voice, your truth. Here are a few key steps. 1. Start journaling. Write down your thoughts, memories, and emotional responses. Over time, this helps you establish a paper trail of your reality, a psychological anchor, when confusion creeps in. 2. Seek external validation wisely. Talk to trusted friends, therapists, or coaches. Sometimes just having someone say that wasn't okay can be life-changing. 3. Create emotional boundaries. Not every feeling needs to be explained. If someone repeatedly invalidates you, it's okay to limit the emotional access they have to you. 4. Practice self-validation. Even when no one else gets it, tell yourself, I felt hurt. That's valid. I'm allowed to feel that way. Healing begins with believing yourself again. A final thought, you deserve to be heard. Gaslighting can feel like emotional erosion, slow, invisible, but deeply damaging. But the very fact that you're recognizing these patterns, that's your strength. That's your intuition lighting back up. Let this be a reminder. You're not too sensitive. You're not crazy. You're not making things up. You are powerful, perceptive, and worthy of respect. If you're watching this on YouTube, if this message resonated with you, please consider subscribing to our channel. Your support helps us keep creating honest, heart-centered content. And if you've ever been gaslit, know this space is here for your voice, not to silence it. Hit that like button, share this with someone who needs it, and remember, you are not alone.